plan is to have a digital hub in every ward in Kenya. That is why we are rolling out fiber optic using Kenya Power, so that every place when Kenya Power is delivering electricity on the same backbone, they will be delivering internet. And that contract has already been signed. It is actually works in progress. So we are thinking ahead of where we need to be, and I will be happy to share with you my thoughts and what I intend to say at the Summit of the Future in New York next week.
Thank you. Good people, I'll seek your magnanimity because we need to move His Excellency to the next appointment. We have taken questions from this side. I will come this side. We started with a gentleman and lady. We'll start with a lady here and get a gentleman. Be brief.
Thank you so much. My name is Angela Kerubo. I'm a lawyer. I came to Germany about 10 years ago. I'm excited about the labor mobility agreement because it creates opportunities for other people. I speak this because as someone who came from a legal profession, a lot is said that you cannot work as a lawyer in Germany because of the different areas of law. So anyway, what I would like to ask and challenge you, Mr. President, is by signing this agreement, I would be very offended if the people who are brought on board, and with no offense about Germans, they are our husbands, they are our children, but we want Kenyans who are in this country to be also involved or to play a part, because there are Kenyans here, there are teachers, we have teachers, we have Kenyans who are nurses. We see a lot of nurses coming into this country. These are the people who will provide the expertise, because there is also the cultural aspect. We understand the cultural issues, because we have a lot of Kenyans who come to this country, end up being depressed, and mostly men suffer mentally coming to this country because they don't understand the culture of this country. So it would be very important for diasporans who are here to help on board or to play a part in this labor agreement. The second part is we also have Kenyans here. I will take this opportunity to mention, for example, I've seen him, I wanted to mention him, Mr. Mutunge has a very good program, and this program is he's training aircraft engineers in Kenya. And to train these aircraft engineers in Kenya, he needs things like aircrafts. And he has received from organizations like Lufthansa have donated to him an aircraft. But it is a very complicated process to import this, or you can't take it as a Kenyan or as an individual. The government needs to support such activities so that we can develop, because it does not only create opportunities for Kenyans who would then train and come and get jobs here, but it also creates opportunities for Kenyans who are in Kenya. Instead of learning theoretically, you go to a college in Kenya, you learn about maintaining an aircraft, but you have never seen that aircraft. You've never been near an aircraft. So thank you very much, and those are the challenges that I would like to put in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me answer her, just because it's very important what she said. First, as a lawyer, please help read between the lines. That can also be your contribution. Look at the agreement. If there are any areas that you think we need to nuance it to make it better, work with the embassy here, and Madam Roslyn here will provide the leadership so that we can continuously improve on the agreement so that it serves us better. Number two, you have said that Kenyans who are living here should be in the equation. And I couldn't agree more. And thank you very much for offering to support your colleagues who are coming. It would be immensely useful if you can provide orientation for the people coming here because of difference in culture, because of some shocks that may arise. And the ambassador should be able to provide that mechanism for Kenyans who are already here to support your countrymen and women who are arriving. And we should find a mechanism for that to happen. And then on the third issue on Mr. Mutunge and some of the... this morning I had a very interesting conversation, by the way. there are people, Wanja here was telling us this morning that she needs left-hand drive vehicles because the driving is on the other side. But you said it was on the wrong side. It is not the wrong side. It is the right side by us, and so it depends on where you're standing from. So anyway, so we need that, some of the equipment to facilitate the training, to make sure that our labor is fit for, working in Germany. It was also said that we need some tools, again this morning. We were told that, for example, the training we have for our technical staff, plumbers and everybody, there are some tools that are different. For the British system that we have is different with the German system. So again, we will look at, these are now things that are coming out because we are having this conversation. We will then need to improve on some of those things, including what my good friend here, Mutunga, is saying, that maybe there will be need for opportunities for us to facilitate some of the training tools, whether it be aircraft, whether it be tools, whether it is cars, so that we can facilitate this export of labor to be seamless, as Kenyans will have the requisite skills. They don't have to come here and train again. So I think that's a very positive contribution, and therefore both Rosalie and the ambassador here, we need to capture some of those things so that we can now, because we now have a joint, what is that? Joint implementation committee that is going to be made of German professionals and Kenyan professionals to help us now clear some of these hurdles that we have.
Thank you, Excellency. I have a plan, yes. I mentioned to you about the cultural center. This is for use at various levels with the issues of mental health, etc., like what has been said here. I don't want to go into it. But I will give Pastor here the mic, and please, under 1 minute.
Thank you, Balozi. My name is Bishop Wamare, and we are here representing a large constituency of pastors who are coming from different cities in Germany. And we have, of course, one message that we'd like to extend to you and to the leadership, that as a church, are people who are seeking reconciliation and peace and prosperity of the country. We love you and we are praying for you as a mandate of the church. We have a number of concerns, but I'll mention two very fast. One, we have a number of Kenyans here. They would like to get married, but it is quite complicated for them to go back home. Is there a possibility that this can happen within our embassy? Probably there could be a legal representation, and we can do that. Number two, as a church, and forgive me, I'm representing the constituency of pastors and in Germany. As a church, we need people that we would like to come and help us to work. We need pastors, ministers, professionals such as keyboardists and such a people, because we have a large constituency of churches, in this case Kenyan churches in Germany, and we need manpower. And sometimes it's quite complicated and difficult to get visas in Germany for such purpose. So we are praying if there could be any intervention where that is concerned, we'll be much grateful.
Thank you, Pastor. Rosalind, do you want to answer that? Because I think that matter he has raised on marriage around the embassy has been raised to us before, yes, in a different jurisdiction, and also the second matter.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. On the marriage thing, you'll be happy to know we already have a framework, a committee. Very soon we should be able to roll out marriage services here at the embassy in Berlin. So that is something that we are already working on. And the church staff issue has actually been raised with me just this week about, and I believe that is a category that is now covered within the agreement. So church workers, ministers, and so on should be able to immigrate under the agreement that we have just signed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Maybe I'll take two. There is a young man there with a good hairstyle. Let's talk to him. And then one of the ladies here with a very nice dress.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. My name is Benson Kuria. As you can see, I'm a youth. I'm a beneficiary of the voluntary service. I came through Sally Klauswald. She's one of the Kenyans who are sensitizing Kenyans online on ways to migrate to Germany, physically, not online. And I came here, I did my FSJ, and now I'm doing my Ausbildung. But Mr. President, I would say we are going through a lot of challenges as youth. I hope we have some youth here. Coming here, it's difficult. As you said, you are having partnership with the German government, but the academic credentials, as you said, Mr. President, they are very different than our school system. My first question is, what are the conversations that you're having to make our school system kind of the same with the German system? So when we are translating our documents, our Anerkennung, our work credentials that they are accredited here, that we are given the same chances as the Germans who are here. Because you are starting from scratch. As they said, you are going through a lot of stress as men. We've studied back in Kenya, we have our degrees, you come here, you're told you have to start again. And on my second question, I will say thank you so much, Mr. President. As you said, you are weeding out some of the problems that have been there, and thank you so much for appointing our new ambassador. We have been given a chance, which we never had in the previous leadership. We'll say we have to be honest, that we are here and we are able to address our issues. And we are asking as the youth, can you incorporate us here in Germany, for example, as immigrants, that we have accessibility to the labor department. Yeah, when we want to work, we have our credentials to be signed. Yeah, education system also. We are not given the chance to get close so our issues can be heard. What are you doing about that also here in Germany as you work in Kenya? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Again, I had a meeting this morning with the labor agents, and actually those two issues came up, that some of the Kenyans who come here, you have qualified, but when you come here you are told you're taken back a year, and you're told go back to school and do this. And it is because we didn't have a framework. Now we do. And in fact, one of the issues that actually two issues I raised with the German Chancellor was, how do we have mutual recognition of skills? And it is provided for under this agreement. We will now work on how does a plumber in Kenya, an engineer in Kenya, a nurse in Kenya, how do we make sure that they have the same qualification, so that when you come from Kenya as a nurse, it is already recognized that if you are licensed as a nurse in Kenya, it is the same licensing that can get you into the German space. So those are the Chancellor, by the way, told me that they are also having problems on their side. They have like 230 institutions that license different categories, and they are also trying to see how to harmonize. So it's not only a challenge on our side, but it's also a challenge on the German side. But you know, this agreement now creates the ecosystem for us to sort out these challenges. In the past, there was no framework. Now we have a joint committee of officials, high-level officials from Germany and high-level officials from Kenya to look at some of the issues that you have raised. You have said, Mr. Kuria, that you want to be involved. You know, you want to be. The other issue was education. How do we also facilitate continuous training, making sure that you can improve on your skills, you can enhance your skills? And one of the organizations that we met this morning was actually saying they are going to provide that opportunity. They already have offices in India because there is a big market. Talent Orange. There is a group called Talent Orange and others. So I think now that we are having this conversation, it will become much more easy because we are now organized. And hopefully we can be able to support you better. Yes, Madam, you have something to say?
Yeah, so thank you very much. Thank you. So my name is Dr. Rahab Njeri. I'm from the University of Cologne. I am a historian, community and scholar activist, and I sit currently in a position that has never been in the history of Germany in a university. So I am the first, as people would like to say, one of the first, and I cannot be one of the first if it's not because of the work of the community, our Kenyan communities, especially the women who have done a lot. So one of my mothers is there. So I always say my doctor title belongs to our community, and I come from Cologne, from Cologne. So I am bringing questions from my generation because I think I came here as a very young girl. I've gone here to school, I've studied here, I've taught here, and I work at the administration in a German university. So one of the questions is, especially when it comes to the diaspora, the voices of the diaspora, the young diasporans living here, and I think that this has also been mentioned. We understand the language, we know the system. How are they going to get involved? Because sometimes we have a feeling it's a couple of people who are involved in the diaspora talks, but not everyone from the diaspora, not everybody who is a Kenyan gets involved in these talks. So how are we going to deconstruct those power hierarchies that are actually there, making sure the older generation, for instance, are not involved in these talks? So that's one of my questions. How is that going to be implemented in the diaspora desk or even in the diaspora engagement? And the other one is in concern of labor mobility, and these are questions that I'm bringing from NRV. So one of the questions that has been asked a lot is, how is Kenya and the German government going to build sustainable structures for our brothers and sisters coming to work in this country? What is the Kenyan government going to do? And what is the German government doing about it? And how is that going to be implemented? And most importantly, who are the people doing the implementation? So those were my two questions.
Thank you very much, Njeri. You have raised concern about involvement. I think this is something that has come up earlier. Involvement of young people, involvement of people who are coming into Germany now. I'm told that there is a small problem between the diaspora organization, but this is purely a diaspora people's challenge here. You need to sit down amongst yourselves and sort yourselves out. I mean, honestly, you know, we would, you know, if we came as government and imposed on you people, it would be wrong. I mean, you people need to sit down, you know, and organize yourselves. And I want to ask the ambassador here, please, if they need a forum, if they need a place, provide a place for these good people to sit down and organize themselves. It would be very good if we have the people who said they have been here before and they will help in understanding to be part of it. It is good for the people who have come recently to be part of it, so that we have an experience from an all-round experience. I think you said we should expel the older ones. So, as we involve the younger, we should also keep the older ones there, so that we have a buffet of ideas and experiences. And so I would really encourage you, and Jerry, and all the other good people here, please, you know, help us organize yourselves. That way we can support you better. And you can have a channel that you can channel some of the issues to us. Let me also ask Madam Jogu, you have said a very powerful point as to, yes, we have an agreement in place. And I want to persuade you guys, you know, sometimes we think that it is the Germans who have an interest in this agreement.